Are you looking for a new system to help generate warm seller leads and at the same time help out your neighbors in your own community? Let's talk about it. So today we're talking about a spring cleaning event. We have talked about lots of different events over the years of things to key in really on your farm. This is a farming activity and it's a way to integrate or another value add to the area that you live in or want to work in or already doing a lot of business in. So there's different things you can do, but the most common one, and this is not new, lots of agents are doing this nationwide, is basically a junk or shred event. Sometimes you can tag in some sort of tech component and really focus on the fact that we're going to be getting rid of your electronics for you as well. But whatever you end up doing, the idea is to make it easy for people to clean out their place. You know, the spring cleaning idea is common and it's understood. So, hey, let's jump on that bandwagon and clear out the house for the summer. Earth Day is a popular time that's chosen. It doesn't have to happen on Earth Day, but that's a great target date. And you know, you can go a little before, a little afterwards, and you can still use that as a way to brand it and get people around the idea of spring cleaning and doing something good for the earth while they're at it. When you do this, of course, the area in which you do it is highly important. This is a farming activity after all. So we're gonna check on what's going on in the community, especially if this is your first time. If you haven't already been working in this area, what does the competition look like? Is there another agent with substantial market share in this specific part of town that you want to work in? What do we mean by substantial? Really, 30% mark is kind of a good indication. If you've got someone who's approaching 30% market share or has exceeded that, like, maybe look at a different area to focus on, because this person is clearly doing something right and they're doing it consistently and they're taking a lot of business out of this area. Now, if you add to that the data point of turnover rate, then now we're really going to know how many homes are actually selling in this given period of blocks or this part of town or this entire zip code, whatever it is that you're focusing on. If we get a decent idea of the turnover rate, and then we know whether or not there's some other agent who's got a significant piece of that market share, then we're gonna have a solid understanding of whether or not this is gonna be a good activity for us to move into and to do regularly, or if we ought to look elsewhere, like I said a minute ago. If you don't see any significant red flags or major hurdles to overcome, then get bold, move in, and feel free to disrupt and shake up what's happening in this community when it comes to the realtor game. Whenever we're talking about taking over some territory, that's really what we're doing in this farming activity. We need to be bold, like I just said. We need to be unafraid of hurting people's feelings and stepping on toes when it comes to other agents. As long as we are doing things ethically to the best of our ability and we're doing it on the up and up, worrying about keeping friends or making enemies of people we don't already know shouldn't be a concern, honestly. The only real concern is whether or not this person already has such a foothold in that it's not worth our time to focus on it. But if that's not the case, part the ways, we're coming through and we're here to make some progress. So we're gonna advertise it in the community. If there's a newsletter or a local paper that just goes to this part of town, of course, put an ad out, make a video post, you know, put some money behind it on Facebook, Instagram, anywhere else you might want to put it. Use the opportunity to do all the other stuff we're already doing. If you have sphere of influence contacts in your database that happen to live in this area, use it to call them. We want to make as many personal invitations as possible. So not only are we going to make those calls, we're going to circle dial and we're going to call strangers in the community and we're going to invite them as well. We're also going to knock on their doors and personally invite them. We want to get face to face. We want to get phone to phone with them. We want to have this opportunity to show our personality and to be kind and to show them that we're doing something of value without asking for anything in return. The idea of starting something like this can seem overwhelming, can seem, frankly, like it's going to be really expensive. And depending on the size and the scale and the scope of the area that you want to move in and do this on, It can be. So there's different ways to get around that. First of all, this is frequently happening anyways, particularly inside homeowners associations, whether they are condo and townhome communities or single family HOAs spread out over larger developments of land. A lot of times homeowners associations have something like this going on, specifically on the electronics front. Go ahead and reach out, sponsor them, make some branding, do a lot of what we're telling you to do, except in partnership with a specific HOA or community that has already got this going on. You would be surprised, a lot of them are doing this on their own without any influence, support, or assistance from a local realtor or lender. Speaking of lenders, if you want to do it in conjunction with an existing situation, like at an HOA that may be doing it on their own, or completely on your own, a lender would be a great way to get some assistance, both in sharing the burden of paying for maybe the marketing or the assistance that you may need to get this done, and also in getting the word out, and also in making the door knocks, and also in making the phone calls. This is a shared burden that you are doing by bringing in a lender or maybe any other sort of affiliate that may benefit from the efforts that are taking place in meeting new people, taking new listings, and meeting new buyers. Again, we are talking about ideas and different highlights that can go into this event, but it should truly be a system that you write out and plan out and build out so that it's replicatable and enforceable, maybe if you have an admin or someone else come alongside and help you in the future. So when you're getting started earlier in the period of time, a ways out before the event itself, you can use any just listed or just sold cards as a way to start bringing awareness to the community that you're going to be putting this event on. You can maybe use the backside as, did you know this event is coming up, or use the other side to start marketing. Then you can go to either door hangers or cards that are just focused on the event itself. And then of course, we talked about the door knocking and the phone calling. So we're going out of our way to make lots of people know this thing is taking place. You're only going to have a certain amount of people in the farm that you're focused on. So the goal is to get as much participation within this area as possible. So we're going to be using postcards. We're going to be using phone calls. We could go ahead and back that up with text messages as well. If we can get emails from our title rep in addition to phone numbers, then we can use email as well. We're going to be sending out invitations in the mail. We're going to be door knocking invitations. We're going to do social media posts. And on that social media post, don't just go to Facebook and Instagram. Nextdoor is a huge resource as well, which is a whole nother topic that you can get highly involved in. But advertising on Nextdoor that this event is taking place is a great way to spread the word as well. So we have tons of exposure. Nobody that lives in this neighborhood is going to not be aware, frankly, if we are checking all of our boxes and following this thing through like the system that it is that we're building. Now, we get to day of. What are we going to do? Well, first of all, we need to have some signage, some branding. Maybe we can use our open house signs to point to the actual area where the trash or the junk or whatever needs to be, the electronics need to go. And you can have different categories, of course, for them all. Get some volunteers to help out and to move things around. People who know to look for someone who maybe looks lost or confused or something. Go up, smile, say hi, have a conversation. It would be great if they were all wearing matching real estate t-shirts with your local branding on it, right? Something like that. And then help them get to where they need to go, do what they need to do, and help them be aware that there's a raffle that you've created. They have something that they can win here. Maybe there's also an inquiry about what other ways we could be of service to them in this entry to the raffle. Maybe they would like a in-person home valuation as opposed to something they can see on Zillow or elsewhere. Maybe they have some need of getting more stuff cleared out of their property because they can't do it on their own. Hey, we're here to be of service, right? And there's a decent chance that someone is clearing out a bunch of junk from their property. They may have a mind to do something with that property in the near future. Also, talking about day of activities, don't deal with renting a dumpster or renting a shredding device on your own and trying to man it and deal with all the crap. partner with a company that does this anyways. They'll probably break you a great deal, if not even work something out that doesn't cost you any money out of pocket at all. And now you've got people that know how to actually deal with the logistics of removing stuff, getting rid of things. Maybe things are just heavy for older people, and you've got other people who can heave things into a dumpster instead of you, who is trying to have meaningful conversations with everybody who's attending this event. The partnership with a company that already does these things for support is a great way to go, and it takes a lot of the burden off your shoulders. You want to train any assistants or even these people that work for the spring cleaning, trash out, electronic waste, whatever it is company, train them to send people your way, to have conversations with you, to ask any questions beyond like which area does this item go in. Teach them what you're trying to accomplish, what kinds of conversations you're trying to have, and to direct them towards yourself and maybe a few other key people that are trained up and able to have meaningful real estate conversations that frankly could dovetail from whatever else it is you're doing there at the event. You know, if you're providing some sort of light snack or breakfast food, if it's in the morning or something, you know, light for the afternoon, that would be a great idea. Coffee, drinks, anything else to go as a warm and welcoming place for people to come by and see how you put it on an event. You are representing yourself and your company after all, even though this is simply a way for people to get rid of some junk. Once they get here, we are on stage. We are performing, we are showing them how we do things, and even if it's a junk drive, we're showing them that we do it well, with a smile on our face, that we're educated, we know what we're talking about, and the same thing will transition into any conversations that happen to have regarding real estate. Think ahead. The event is not the end of the story. We should schedule maybe a seller seminar, maybe an initial buyer kind of information seminar where you're explaining how things are different in this market than they would have been 10 or 20 or 30 years ago when they likely bought this property. Create something else to look forward to now that they've been to this thing that they're simply getting a little utility out of. Now, this system dovetails into a new one, which is an event that you're putting on to help people understand what's going on in the market and, you know, teach them up on things to look out for if and when they consider selling in this market. Now, you're inviting people to the seller seminar at the junk removal event, and you're going to be following up with the invitations that you've sent out with the potential attendees. You're going to make sure that they come up because it's only a week away, or it's only 2 weeks away, or whatever you have strategically created, and it's all part of the bigger picture of what we're doing here. We could go on, we could flesh out a lot of ideas and different strategies to help make this thing a huge event that dovetails into even more other events and brings in business for you, but we've got to move on. So we're going to leave it right there for today. I hope you found this information helpful. I hope, more importantly, that you can implement it into your business and get new leads, new clients, new closings, and new paychecks as a result of it. Feel free to reach out if you've got any questions, comments. I'd love to chat with you, and I'll talk to you soon.